G'day guys, this is Jay from Journey of a Whitefeather, kangaroos, koalas and Steve Irwin impersonation, especially over in my favourite country other than Australia. Well, not Melbourne, but Perth. We'll go into that. But I've been to this place in the last 3 or 4 months it was. Can't remember. It was such a good time. We're flying over to Canada, British Columbia. I love that area. And we've got Anne over here. And
Hello.
hello, how are you? We met you on TikTok, and what she wants to do, I always talk about the life PhD, people who have a lot of life experiences, stories that could help people. It's not just having a degree or anything. People who have medical degrees and I do wonderful things, but there's so much more in the world that people have experienced at. And this is why I did a chat with Jay, because people need to hear people's stories. And this is why I always say remove the mask, write the story, and we're going to get right in. Welcome. I want to hear your live PA. And you said this is your first interview. This is amazing. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, my first podcast for sure. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I love it. I was pretty excited and stoked for this. So
awesome. Well, thank you very much. I mean, it's really weird, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I mean, I approach people that I know I've got a bit of a name on TikTok as such. I'm not no big influencer or anything like that. But it's really nice to actually connect with I look at people's profiles, see what they're projecting, and as I said, this is why I connected with Anne. But let's chat, Anne. Let's go. It's all about you. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, what should I start with first?
Well,
I'm very into spirituality.
I'm going to guide you. I'm going to find out what you're living in Canada. Let's start off with what your journey is. Why have you decided to come on the podcast and talk about yourself? What experiences have you had in life? Where do you find yourself right now that you've come onto the podcast? Because you're going to get a copy of this and send it to all your friends.
Yes, for sure.
What messages do you have to give to the world?
Well, as you probably know from my videos and stuff, I make spiritual videos on TikTok.
Yep.
And I think I have come from a very religious background. Like I was baptized Catholic and then I was hardcore Christian for a long, long time. And I just kind of, when I think I got through like the third time of reading the Bible, and I was like taking notes and I was like, certain stuff doesn't add up here. And I was going to
as I said to you, at what stage of your life did that come about? Because a lot of people come on the show, say they have revelations, and people want to know about the revelation. So you read the Bible 3 times, you're going, hang on, something doesn't sit right with me at this point.
Yeah, there was just so many inconsistencies from one chapter to the next. And I'm like, well, wait, that's kind of contradicting what you said in the past, So, and I was going to like 3 different churches, just trying to find, right? I guess I was just curious and my soul was starting to awaken.
Okay.
And so the past couple of years is when I really started to really deep dive more into my spiritual side. And I think that has really.
Were you going into your heart chakra type thing, and were you sort of going in there I mean, you couldn't ignore what was happening in your heart type thing. You've gone through all this experience. You've got some great knowledge and great experience through reading the Bible and being a Christian, but now it's time to evolve. Is that how you felt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, if I can be totally blunt and honest here.
Absolutely.
I had such a traumatic past, and a lot of people, I had tried to numb and everything that pain through different addictions and stuff. So, and I just nothing really quite, I would stay, on the good side for about 10 years or so, but I'd always end up, relapsing or whatever. And, it was really hard thing for me to talk about for a long time, but I've overcome that. I've overcome the shame and guilt of my past, and spirituality really helped me with that. And it's made me a lot more, it's kept me sober. I've been sober for years now. And it's just something that, nothing really worked before I found spirituality, and it's really helped me to find myself and just to really heal. And yeah,
I can see the emotion in your eyes there that you've really found that. Did you sort of did you come to a point where you found if you just basically looked and gone, I can go deeper in with this? You sort of did something really click after I can see you've got some beautiful incense going there, which is amazing.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing. That's great. Awesome. Awesome. What
Yeah.
kind of incense is it? Is it particular?
Archangel Michael.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, it smells so
Any?
good.
I see. I flip everywhere with this interview. Why'd you pick that one for?
Um, well, I find like I pray a lot to archangels, I connect to them, and Archangel Michael especially has really resonated with me a lot. Like
Awesome.
it's yeah, I find when I like pray, and connect with him, it's it's amazing,
Awesome.
And he's
Do it.
very
Okay, well, that's a segue into what you want to do. So you've come into this spirituality. You've gone into your heart space,
yes.
and you want to help. And this is where we want to help people. We become we evolve as soul
Hmm.
spirits or humans or however you want to put it. Where did you go from there? What was your what you was this world of, oh god, looks like a magnificent. Where did you start and what was your where did you go from there after you sort of had that revelation?
I actually started with meditation. Well, I was always like connected right to the divine.
Yep.
And I just lived through so many things. I'm like, I started to think like, why me? When
Yep.
I know a lot of people that haven't, you know, been so lucky and made it out of situations. So I thought, there has to be purpose, like, well, for myself, because that's part of the healing journey is to really look at yourself deeper and, we're
I'll
just here to find
clickbait
our
that one.
purpose, right?
I'll
And
clickbait
I'd
that.
like to help,
It's great. I'll
yeah,
clickbait
I'd
that.
like
That's
to help
awesome.
others find their purpose and just, say what worked for me. And hopefully, like, I can inspire others if they know, like, my story and what I've been through. And, honestly, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And yeah, I
Magnificent.
just kind of want to share a bit of my story.
I'll go into the next bit where I'm just paralleling. Oh, well, that's a good word. Jeez, no wonder I'm a PE teacher, not an English teacher. Um, but I'll parallel the experiences I had with what you're doing. So you found
Sure.
you've looked at these. So you went into meditation, and then what did you go into astrology, crystals, and everything? Did you were you just like a open book to find things? I mean, have you seen The Shift by Wayne Dyer at all?
Um, no, I haven't, but I know
Please
of
watch it.
him. Yeah, I will
Please watch it.
definitely. The thing that really, well, I don't know if you've watched any of my specific videos where I talked about where I've always kind of had a connection to the spirit realm.
Yeah,
Like since I was since
I've
yeah,
noticed that. I've
since I was
noticed
a
that sort of
child.
yeah, I've noticed that sort of that the gist of where you were at with your videos. You said you had this, you're starting to develop this gift with the spirit realm. Now, can you want to explain a bit of that? Because we've had psychic mediums, we've had astrologers, we've had people, energy readers. Where do you sit on that?
Well, since I was a child, I think I was in kindergarten when I first spoke of speaking to spirits. And
Okay.
so I've managed to like see them or hear them
Yep.
throughout my life. And, a lot of times in dreams, but there have been times in my waking hours where I'll see them. And so I always had that connection there. And I was actually in residential school. I'm not sure if you heard about those in
Where what? Do
Canada.
you want to explain that one to us? Because I think it was a
The
bit different in
residential
Australia.
school is where the Catholic Church, they kind of almost tried to genocide the native people of Canada, and they rounded up
Wow.
all the native children from their homes and forced them into Catholic schools and these residential schools. They were taken
I've
from
heard
their
that
homes.
is. Yeah, it
And
happens
the
everywhere. It
priests
happens
and
everywhere.
nuns, yeah, the priests and nuns, it was just a terrible time, right? But so these
Yeah.
schools were, some of them were, by the time, when I was there, it was like 125 years old. So, and lots of horrendous stuff happened there, right? So there was a lot of spirits there. And yeah, I just kind of went through it a lot. So a lot of stuff that I see and stuff, it doesn't scare me. Whereas I started telling people like, oh, I've seen this, and they'd just be kind of like, and I realized not a lot of people have had these experiences. So I started looking into ways where I could communicate with them more deeply and to try to understand them more clearly.
Cool.
And
And what have you
yeah,
done? What have you done
and
there? Even in that case, have you done a lot of um, have you done a lot of work with regards to maybe connect like personal work to open up your opening up your third eye, understanding your
yeah,
subconscious, your shadow. I'm using catchwords here.
a lot of meditation, a lot of like studying. I do tarot, I do like palm readings. I'm starting to like delve into dream interpretations.
Oh wow,
Just,
okay, cool. How do you
yeah,
find that one there, Anne? Because I believe in it because I get visions. I was getting visions, especially before I went on my world trip. I was getting it every single night, Um,
yeah.
and I know they're messages from above because when I opened up my third eye, I had this epiphany of people of these visions coming through. But then I had to go
Mhm.
through my spiritual awakening, twin flame spiritual awakening, to actually open that up
Yeah.
more and understand. How do you interpret all those kind of things with what you do?
Well, a lot of it is symbolism, but I found a lot,
Okay.
like especially throughout my journey, like throughout my life, I've received prophetic visions my whole life. And I found like the more repetitive they were, like if I got the same ones, then I knew it was an actual like foretelling of something
Okay.
that was to come.
Yep.
But a lot of it is like symbolic or yeah, it's
Do,
just
do
when
you
you
work
delve
with
into it.
do you work with
Sorry.
numbers at all, or do, like symbolic?
Yeah, like I'm
What?
studying like numerology and like just symbols, like how I described it in my last reading or my last one of my last videos is I said that I would just give an example. Say if you were to tell me that you had a dream where you were sliding down a long slide
Yep.
and you fell into a pool of yellow water.
Okay.
So I would say that interpret that as how the throat is often symbolic of a water slide. So I would say that you were ingesting something that in the long run would be toxic to your health.
Okay.
So because the water is yellow and that usually symbolizes toxicity.
Okay. Could I ask you
Yeah.
on that one? This is an interesting because we had Alexis on yesterday
Okay.
from Perth, and she had some of with dream interpretation with regards to that. Do you look at the person as well? Because my mentor Greg Riley was saying that because we're awakened, and you get this because we were on the same wavelength. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, with the people who aren't as awake as what we are, when they have
Mhm.
those visions, how do you come across and tell people? Because saying something like that to someone going who is, who
Yeah.
has a dream like that, and they're not as open to what they're just going, oh yeah, right, yeah, all I want to hear about is I want to make money. I've got my life partner, you know what I mean? But if you have that,
Yeah.
are you aware of people's personal journeys before you mention that, or are you still developing that? Does that make sense? As you look at the
Yeah. It's
yeah,
definitely something that you have to consider, right? Because one of the main things like I try not to do is I try not to let my words or my intentions, affect anybody negatively. And I
yep,
I ask for forgiveness from people if I do it that way. But I find like the more that you get on that right frequency and stuff, the right people will be drawn to you are the ones that will, you know, appreciate and acknowledge your knowledge, right? And that are there for it, will understand it,
yep.
and others, they're just not there in their journey yet. And we just got to give them that time and respect them and say, okay,
Yeah, it's a
and
case of I'm not sure there's a couple of things now that if you got a pen and paper, it's Wayne Dyer's The Shift. I want you to watch that because I
sure.
think you will benefit so much from that, Mike. Oh, I tell you, Wayne Dyer The Shift. Also, I learned a lot about universal laws. I'm very big on universal laws and stuff,
Yeah.
and so behavior. But the one that got me in the shift was the law of non-interference. And I
Yeah.
think the law of non-interference and the law, and there was another one. I always mix these two up. It's basically the law of flow as well. But there's one that Aaron Doherty done too, but not interfering in the process. Um,
Of
and we
another's
and
journey or
yeah, it's just someone's journey. So if you were to, as I said, you were to say, so do you have a feeling with the people that you come to, whether they're awake or whether they're just looking for answers, or is there
oh,
just
definitely.
yeah?
Definitely. Because
How
like,
do you deal with that?
well, the thing is, I've come to learn because I used to, I think that a lot of us when we first are awakened, we're like, oh, we want to tell everybody, right? And we want to like,
We all do it.
kind of force feed people like wake up.
We
But
all do it,
I
eh?
I'm kind of I'm past that point right now because like there's only so much you can do. And as it says in the Bible, this thing that I've come to realize is don't cast your pearls before swine. A lot of people are not gonna
Law of
like,
non-interference,
yeah,
and the
don't
law,
like,
and I think
they're
it's
not gonna, yeah,
would you
they're
say
not
it's
gonna
about the
respect
ego?
your knowledge.
Would you say it's about the
Sorry.
ego as well? Ego, pulling the ego back as well. You don't go. I mean, we all do it. I mean, I still do it.
Yeah. Like, why am I trying to push this so hard? Am I trying to say like, oh, look at me, like, look how much I know? Or are you
More to
really trying to
balance.
help
There you go.
people?
Balance law. That's the one I was thinking with Aaron Doherty. You've got to actually. It's called, well, what I believe is more like samadhi, or it's a point of neutral. Understand, but keeping a neutral, keeping the energy at neutral. You don't want to. I'll give you an example. Like you get too excited about something. It's good to have enthusiasm, but then you push it to a
Yeah.
point where it's desperate. I didn't really
Yeah.
understand that to Aaron. That's the one I was. That's the one I was going on about. What do you think about
Yeah.
that?
And then it kind of it does the opposite, right? It repels people like, no,
Yes.
not this
Yeah.
again,
That's it,
like,
yeah.
so it's like energy is currency, right? So it's like the more you like chase after something, the more it's like gonna, so you got to like learn to flow with it, right? And
That's right. It's still
just
having
like
energy.
money.
It's still
Yeah.
enjoying what you're doing, and you're still
Yeah.
walking. You're still walking, and when things come up, you grab it.
Yeah.
I know myself. Look, I call myself the best hype man in Australia. There's hyping, and then there's pushing. And I think you
Yes.
hit it on the head there. That spot. That's what Aaron Doherty. That's what I was thinking about. So you got that one with Aaron
Yeah.
Doherty, and when you watch the shift, I'd love to connect with you after you watch the shift, and I want you to.
Sure. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
reckon. I reckon. Yeah, I reckon you're gonna walk around and go, "Oh my! Oh, look at this! This is great." So,
Yeah.
so with this ability that you've got, you're developing it. It's probably happened the last 10 years or so, if I'm reading correct.
Well,
Um,
a lot of the, well, I call them my sentience, right? Like
yeah.
clairsentient and clear, all those. I've had a couple of them, like I said, since childhood, but a lot of them have really started to develop, yeah, in the last, since I've, truly awakened and, I'm eating healthier and stuff. And I've learned like now to like ways to decalcify your third eye and your pineal gland and stuff.
Wow.
And
So there you
I've
go.
really like, yeah, I've
Awesome.
really become aware like of herbs and stuff like this and the different ways that they could just enhance our spiritual journey and our spiritual awakening in ways that they could
It's it's a
enhance our abilities, right?
it's
There's
it's a
lots
huge
of
thing.
different ways.
Absolutely, it's a huge thing. Like even I have a simple concoction. I call it. That's what we call it. We'll call it a
Yeah.
concoction.
Mm.
Ginger, a ginger tea bag with lemon, apple cider vinegar, paprika, um,
Honey.
honey, lemon, and
Yeah.
cayenne pepper.
Yes. Yeah.
So I have
I was
that, and then I have my
yeah.
shilajit and sea moss. I don't know if you're into shilajit and sea moss. That's
Oh
got.
yes, I take that every day.
Oh, here we go. Like so, you know,
Yeah,
tell
there's
you
a
about that.
bunch
Tell you
I
about the
take.
great volume of the day.
Yeah.
And how
I
have you
take
felt?
also like
Can I
sorry.
ask you how you felt with that? Like you've taken, like obviously you've taken a not just I'm going to get healthier. I want to basically connect with these, like we're people of the earth, and we were connected in that way. That's why we'll go into we can go about the witch theory, but crystals have energy. All those things.
Yeah.
What we put into our bodies is still energy of the earth. Why have you found that connection with it? With what you're
Oh
doing
yeah.
at the moment?
Well, like you probably noticed on my TikTok as well, I am a white witch, so that's something that
I've
is
noticed.
generational.
That's
That
what
is something
attracted
that is
to. That's
generational.
what attracted to
My
it. Love it.
Yeah,
Love it. It's
my
awesome.
grandma was one, and unfortunately, she had a tragic ending. And my mother was kind of one, and my stepmother was one. So it's kind of like, but it's something that I kind of stayed away from also because I was very indoctrinated through the religion, right? And
Yep.
was taught that everything was so evil and everything. But there is ways to do it and there's ways not to. So actually, when I started developing more strongly my spirituality, I started doing things to like spiritually protect myself and things that I just started doing like out of the blue, right? And then when I started actually studying, witchcraft and stuff, it was stuff that I was doing instinctually. So, I think there is stuff that, maybe we have downloaded from past or that's definitely
Absolutely.
generational knowledge that like, yeah, there's stuff that I will speak and I don't even know where or how I knew that because I've
Yeah.
never
Oh,
read it in a
I
book
get
or
it.
anything
Yeah.
before. Yeah. And then I'll see videos or I'll read a book and I'll be like, yeah, like, how did I know that?
It fascinates me. It absolutely fascinates me from watching. You've watched Charmed as well, haven't you? I'm sure you've watched Charmed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
get it. So you get it. James von Prague was the producer. So understanding that witchcraft is basically the connection to us, to the earth, and all the energies and all
Yeah,
the energies of it. And can I ask you? It's a little bit of a controversial question to a point with
sure.
regards to the religion, because obviously I didn't study religion when I was, I never
Okay.
did. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
respect everyone who does what they do, but we got.
Yeah.
How did you come about with regards to? I mean, it looks like you're really balanced with what you've got. You've got some great knowledge from the Bible, which is a if you read it for what it is, it's a
Yeah.
great read,
Oh
right?
yeah, it's very metaphorical.
You don't go playing the ego and putting little things into people's head. But if you read it for what it is without worrying about stuff, then
Judgment.
you've got your
Yeah.
spirituality and your witchcraft, which we'll talk about whether it's this part or the next. We're going to do a second part to this.
Sure. Yes.
What do you think? The second part means straight after we do this. I'll explain it later. But witchcraft and the Bible, because we went back, and I've always said with regards to the pagans going in, and then the
Mhm.
Christians coming in and overrunning the pagans. We all know it. We all know what happens. We don't
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
we don't have to go just in case we get censored. You know what I'm doing. You know where I'm
Sure.
going. So basically, because I was a believer of the American Indian culture, so we'll leave it at that.
Mhm.
But what did that do for you? I mean, it looks like you're very balanced with what you've learned on both sides, and yeah, the white witch thing. And I was going to say I didn't want to bring it up until you did. That's what got
Yeah.
me. I was like, this is freaking cool, man.
Yeah. 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 Like I said, I was very indoctrinated, but when I come to like realize that a lot of the Bible is very metaphoric, right?
Yep.
Like a lot of the parables and stuff, if you really read into them, like a lot of the Psalms and everything, they are parables, right? And you just have to see it for what it is, what they are really talking about. You don't have to take it literally word for word. So when I started connecting, more to spirituality, my eyes started awakening to what is really being said. And I think a lot of the ways that they talk about or drill in us that this is evil, that is evil, it is just things that would keep us weak, right? To keep us powerless, so we don't recognize the gifts that I think are all innately born with, right? That we've been so
Absolutely.
you know
Absolutely.
schooled with
It's a look
everything.
what we've got now, and this is why we connect so much on especially TikTok. I think it's a great, magnificent platform, and I know why they're trying
Mhm.
to ban it for people like
Yeah.
us who are,
Yes.
and I'm in groups, I'll call them freedom lovers. We'll call it that way. We don't want to, I'm
Mhm.
just trying to use words so we don't get docked. But
Yeah.
people like us are going from there. So tell us a little bit about, did you use those? You use the archangels and whatnot in your witch. Oh, if you don't mind me calling you a white witch, if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah,
Your
that's fine.
practices when you speak to someone comes to you. What do you do? So where are we at? So you've obviously got, so you connect with someone, and yeah, I mean, I'm the same. I connect with someone, I can't not tell them things. What is the process? What do you expose yourself for what it is, or do you just tell them how it is, or what's your process, knowing that people aren't awake as much as what we are? And I
um
love and I love that. I love the incense. So good.
yeah, like,
Love it.
so you're saying, so if a person, say, on TikTok reaches out to me,
Doesn't matter.
or
Yeah, whoever. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
um well, I think which I find amazing now, a lot of witches are, we're not being burned at the stake anymore, right? So we're
Yeah, I know.
able to speak on it
Fantastic.
more freely. So a
Yes.
lot of, and I'm not very shy with it, right? So a lot of people do know my stance and where what I practice.
And how do you feel
And
about that? How do you feel? I'm going to throw you straight out. So, I'm very protective of what I do. I
yeah,
mean, I do all this stuff. I mean, I practice witchcraft. It's fine.
yeah,
Or I'm aware of it. I've read the book of the
yeah.
occult. I've done all that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I've read all that. Not,
yeah.
and
Hmm.
I'm quite happy to say in my practice, yeah, when my mind was not good, or where I was,
Yeah.
my subconscious program looking for something to believe in. I went and read the bloody black, but I went and read the Black Bible. What about yourself? How do you
Mhm.
feel about that? How do you feel about that in your sense when you're talking to others?
I think a lot of people, it scares a lot of people, right? Because we are scared of what we don't know and the unknown and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
very
And
much.
um, through media, through everything, witches have been so demonized and everything. So everyone
Yep.
labels us the same way, right?
Yep.
So I think I have to take, like, into precaution, because like the thing that I work on is, you know, going against that kind of thing. And if it is part of my journey to, you know, kind of be spiritual bait, and to like maybe tell the ones that maybe practice the dark, that aim to like harm people, that it's not okay. And there
Well,
are ones like us that we are put here, I think, maybe to like show these people that not everybody is going to be susceptible to your dark magic. It's not going to work on everybody.
so you
And
work
we,
with yeah, that's a good point. So you work with the dark entities, obviously, but obviously there's people, and we know as a collective, and I know I know I could speak to you like this. As a collective,
yes.
masculine energy, feminine energy, and the collective of what's happening around the world. We're talking really about the ego of people, aren't we here? So it's not a case whether you practice demon. We can talk about demons in the next part because I'm really intrigued by that too.
Yeah.
But we're really fighting against the ego, aren't we? And and people have to. I think the scariest bit, and you've probably noticed yourself, is when I turned my mirror on myself was the hardest thing I ever did.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes. Yes, it's all about the ego. I almost like, because I started reading books on neuroscience and stuff like this, and there's a couple of really good ones, and it talks about the mind a lot and the things, the technology they have now.
Yep.
And I like to think like sometimes I'm like, maybe we are just in a simulation, right? And how like it's all just an not attacks of the mind, but maybe study of the mind. And we're all, it's like just a bunch of big tests that we go through, right? And
Bunch
some
of
people
lessons if
don't
you want.
pass, and
Yeah.
some,
Yep.
yeah, lessons, right?
Yep.
And you can consider them lessons or blessings, whatever. I think
Yep.
they're
Yeah.
always
However you
both,
want to
right?
interpret it. That's right. Yep.
Yeah, they're always both. There's always blessings in a lesson, right?
Yep.
When you come to that
Absolutely.
point where you can like actually look at, you know, your so-called enemies or the people that come against you with kind of an emotional intelligence, and just think, okay, if I stop labeling them as an enemy, then I kind of close the part off to me that would label myself as a victim, right? And instead look at them like teachers, like, okay, what is this teaching? What are they teaching me? And then at that point, then you can kind of close off, you know, the revenge, the ego part that wants to like lash out, or, oh, they did this to me. And you can start looking at them instead with more, you know, empathy and stuff, because we've all had traumas and stuff that make us act out at times the way, or, you know.
I'll give you two examples. Ask you two questions. Number one, acting out. I'm of a belief that you should let the release tension in whatever way that doesn't hurt people.
Yeah.
Okay, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, boundaries. We got to set boundaries. I think that people like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and the great leaders of our world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Wayne Dyer is another one, but they have a presence and a vibration, but they also know how to set boundaries. So you've got people blowing up, whether they punch walls or
Yeah.
whatever they may be.
Mm-hmm.
It's expressing that whatever anger energy or sexual energy or whatever it may be. So you got to channel that energy, and people don't know how to do it. And then you got the second part, which is you setting your boundaries, and I'll add in the third part, subconscious programming. So you have to be able
Yeah.
to release that. What do you think about how do you feel about those three entities within people? Okay, so we've got 10 minutes on this first chapter, well, first part. Okay, then we'll go to the second part straight after. Go for it.
Boundaries are like such a good thing that I really had to learn to put up, right? Because like, so if you're asking if like how do I deal and how do I put up boundaries and stuff, or
Yep,
how do I
absolutely.
respect
Yep.
others'
Whatever
boundaries?
that means to you.
Well, I found a lot of things that I think I've come to realize is, you know, there's so many energy vampires out there, they call them, whether they do it
Yep.
intentionally or unintentionally, right? It's something that we have to be very aware of. And so when people, you know, lash out at you negatively, or they kind of goad you into it, right? I've really had to learn to like kind of step back from that, because, you know, we don't want to give them or feed them, because what they basically do is I think they just transfer that energy to us. And so, you know, then they end up leaving and feeling great, right? Because they kind of like trauma dumped or whatever onto you. So boundaries have really helped me with that. Like, if I don't want to talk to somebody, or if I don't feel, I'll just simply walk away, or
Do you have coping
just don't
mechanisms?
have to,
Do you
you
have
know.
coping mechanisms? Because my one is basically someone does something to you, I go, oh, for fuck's sake, mate. Or it's usually me. Oh, God, I'd rather take me chances with a grizzly bear. Oh, that's my that's it. I have to be funny about it because some people have absolutely no, and you got it, and then you got the respect thing. Oh, you don't know what they're going through. Yeah, but for God's sake, mate,
Yeah, but kind of like go F yourself too,
there's a
Like,
tolerance.
of course, I get like that too, because
There's a
if you
tolerance.
were
You
to
go,
know anyone that knows me, right? I've been like a feisty little one my whole life. And I grew up around a lot of males. So I have a mouth on me, right? And I've really had to
yep, me too.
kind of get that into check, right?
Yep.
Uh yeah. So, and being a Scorpio,
Oh, you're a
revenge.
Scorpio. Okay, that makes sense. What's your so we've got a couple of minutes left on this one, and then we'll go straight into part two.
Sure.
Um, tell us a little bit more about how you got into your deep spirituality with regards to you're in this realm now. Let's
Yeah.
start off with that, and then we'll move into part two, as you can go more. So, when did you start connecting to the world with regards to and no? Okay, even better. When did you start really accepting that you're a white witch?
Um, Probably about a year and a half ago.
Oh
Like
wow,
really, yeah.
really?
Because
Okay,
yeah, I hadn't known that about my grandma, like that she was one herself. I didn't
okay.
realize that till
And how can I ask you how far back is that? Is that like
two
uh
generations.
to just so you're looking at probably the 1930s, if I'm correct, 1930s, 1900s, 1930s, is that right?
Well, it's only two generations. I'm like
Yeah,
that
about
I
that.
know
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
looking at
yeah.
1900s. Okay, cool. Yep, sweet.
Yeah, so and when I started realize like it's all because witchcraft and stuff, it's all about intentions with that kind of thing, right? And so I think I was put through a series of tests like spiritually. Um, and that's I've learned to like really watch my reaction to things. So I was put through these tests, I believe, just to see, because once I realized that I had these abilities, right, to do these rituals and stuff like that, and I seen them coming true. And so I was given little tests, like people piss me off, do certain things, to really like,
You think the
and how am I going to react to it,
universe
right?
is
Am I
testing
going to be
us?
like, okay, go light a candle and and I didn't go there, right? Like I kept my heart pure, and I kept, okay, some things I'll just release to the ancestors, and I'll be like, hey, you deal with them. Like when I spoke about one of my videos, when a lot of people don't believe in return ascenders, but I said if you do it right, it's not you that's actually attacking that person. You are releasing that energy and sending it back to source, and your ancestors, your deities, whatever, they deal with that, right? So it's not really on you. You're not the one like sending that person harm, you're just sending it back, right?
Excellent.
So
Yeah, it's he's putting your Captain America shield up and go, right, there we go, block.
yeah, like no more like
Yeah. It's
can only
very
turn so
hard.
many cheeks, right?
I'll ask you, it's very hard because it's very hard for me as well. We going through what it's sort of like going the old into the new, and then I think people do have triggers, and you have to just deal with your triggers and stuff like that, And then
Yeah,
I think once you acknowledge your triggers and you can step back and not sit in the moment that much, and that's what they go sit in the
exactly.
moment, get on with it. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah,
But there's got to be a time and a place where you just got to go right. And I think what I do is I look at it now where okay, how can I react better the next time? That's it. End of story. Like
yeah,
you go into all this all this bullshit, this
yeah,
bloody, oh yeah, we're going to do this, you got to do that. No, you just got to go. If you're aware, you're halfway there, go, rightio, then we're aware of what happens. If we do something out of balance, it goes.
yeah.
And what we're going to
Or
do is, sorry, keep going. We've got another minute. Go for it.
okay, I'm just saying, like, or you could go one step further. That's when you kind of go into the alchemy part of it, right?
Yeah,
And you could actually alchemize what the negativity, and just however you want to alchemize it, however works for you, to like kind of balance it out and turn it into positive, like for yourself, like for
fantastic.
yeah.
Power of choice.
Sorry.
Power of choice.
Yes, yes.
We don't really
We all
realize
have
we
free
have
will.
that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've got a white witch on here. Now I'm even more excited because I knew she was doing, but now she's actually admitted to me, so that's great. And I know I practiced a little bit myself. And I've got a couple of questions that I'd
Oh,
love to
nice.
throw to her in the next
Okay.
part. In the next part, we're going to go part two with Ed. be back very, very shortly. And we look forward to speaking to her very, very soon.